Okay, good morrow, sweetlings.
Hello.
Going for another Monday night Modern League with Blue-White Spirits. We're playing 60 cards. I'm not going to do my 63 card special just yet. I do have that deck made and saved and ready to go. At some point, we'll play 63.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week, but we're playing 60 right now. It's a fairly different list than the last two videos. I know we switched a little between the previous two leagues, but this is a bigger change. Shifting more towards a creature-based strategy. It's still pretty disruptive. This is not like the lists that have been posted on Wizards league reporting website with 4 Mutavaults and Geist of St. Traft and a bunch of Phantasmal Images. It's not that, but it's more creature-based. And the main reason I'm doing this is actually because I want to improve our creature matchup, our matchup against creature decks a little bit. And the main deck is not actually exactly doing that, but what we've done is we've shifted the main deck a little bit so that it's more diverse and it has some cards that are good against, specialized against all types of decks, aggro, mid-range, control, and combo, with a slight bias towards being good against control and combo, which I think is an inherent part of this deck. And then our sideboard is a little bit more pitched towards doing well against creature strategies, just a little bit. So we'll talk about some specific card choices and changes from previous lists. So first of all, the mana base, gone up to 21 lands. Part of that is we're up to 11 3-drops. And part of that is I wanted to try out some Mutavaults. So we got 2 Mutavaults in the deck. I don't think I would want to play more than 2. I've played this deck through a couple of leagues now. It's been pretty successful. But the second Mutavault is usually unexciting, unless I've traded the first one away in combat. And so having 3 or more in the deck just is going to increase the chance of drawing Mutavault multiples, which isn't bad, but it isn't what I necessarily want to do.
Especially with such a low curve, color-intensive deck.
Yeah. The second Mutavault as another land that doesn't produce colored mana can be a doubt. But the reason I said that we're up to 21 lands to include Mutavaults is because the Mutavaults are only kind of lands. We will trade Mutavaults away pretty aggressively in combat, so we're not really fully relying them on producing mana to produce mana for us. So for that reason, we're sort of maybe you consider it like we're at 20 and a half lands, where these 2 Mutavaults aren't quite 2 full lands. They're a little bit creatures as well. We're also playing 2 Moorland Haunt. So Moorland Haunt and Mutavault are both great cards against creature decks, with Moorland Haunt being a little bit better against mid-range decks because it's a stream of creatures that they have to expend resources to destroy, whereas Mutavault is a little bit better against controlling decks because it dodges board wipes and sorcery speed removal. And both of them, as lands that produce bodies one way or another, are just inherently going to be good at attacking and blocking, which means they're better in creature matchups. We have no more Serum Visions in the deck, and that's because we have 3 Thalias. Thalia is just sort of a card that you don't want to include in the same deck as cantrips because it's just not efficient to cast a 2-mana Serum Visions or opt. Thalia's in there as primarily a card that's good against control and combo, but she's also quite good against mid-range decks, doubling the cost of most removal spells. A lot of removal spells in Modern are 1 mana. Thalia doubles that. A lot more are 3 mana, specifically Maelstrom Pulse, Detention Sphere, Kolaghan's Command. And Thalia making them cost 4 is huge, because not a lot of decks get their 4th land on turn 4 in Modern. And even if they do, a lot of those same decks have impactful 4-mana plays they really want to make, like a Bloodbraid Elf or a Supreme Verdict or a Jace. And so Thalia making them spend all 4 of their mana on a 3-mana removal spell can sometimes offset their plan by several turns. So she's great. And we're also not playing Mana Leaks. The cut for Mana Leak isn't because of Thalia. It's sort of along with including Thalia. because they're both good in a lot of the same matchups. The difference is that Thalia can block. Thalia, in a lot of matchups, changes the pace of the game in a similar way to how Mana Leak would change the pace of the game, preventing a turn 3 Liliana, or preventing a turn 4 Jace, or making it a lot harder to resolve both halves of Lingering Souls. But the difference, again, is that she can block, and so she's a little bit better against most creature decks than Mana Leak. She's no good against humans, which is something that's important to consider, but Mana Leak is also trash against humans.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking like, we're losing something by including this card that's bad against humans, like, sure, but we cut the card that's terrible against humans to do it, so we haven't really changed our matchup there.
Mana Leak can't attack or block either.
Mana Leak can't attack, can't block, can't counter a spellcast by Cavern of Souls, and can't counter a creature put into play by Aether Vial. It just, they're both pretty much useless. At least Thalia can, like, chump block. We're playing 2 Nebelgast Herald, which in conjunction with Moorland Haunt really changes our entire creature matchup. Is just, they're so good. Then 1 Vendilion Clique. And the Vendilion Clique is really in there because we cut the Mana Leaks, and as a result, our combo matchup gets a little bit worse. Thalia is good at slowing down combo, but especially creature-based combo, she just doesn't do anything. So a deck like Vizier Druid or I don't know, that's really the most creature-based combo deck in Modern. But, you know, Amulet Bloom is also a creature-based combo deck. Vendilion Clique can sort of just throw a wrench in any of those plans. They do cost 3 mana, including 2 blue mana symbols, so we're not always going to cast Clique on time. But that's okay. We can cast it with Vial. We can cast it on turn 4 or later. Clique plays really well with Thalia because Thalia will delay a lot of combo turns, and then Clique can disrupt that turn on the turn of the combo. So that makes room in our sideboard for some more creature matchup-focused cards. We have a Settle the Wreckage, and we have a Worship, 2 4-mana cards that we've been hesitant to include before. Now that we're up to 21 lands, we're going to get to 4 mana a little bit more reliably. White for Settle is going to be tricky. We're probably not often going to have that on turn 4, but Settle is going to be impactful up through turn 6, I think, when we can be blocking up until that point. The 1 white mana symbol for Worship means it's a lot easier to resolve earlier than Settle. We have a Fragmentize, which is good against just so many things in Modern. We don't really care about Blood Moon, but it kills Blood Moon. It kills Ensnaring Bridge. It kills Choke. It kills Eidolon of the Great Revel. It kills opposing Aether Vials. It kills Utopia Sprawls. It just is super versatile. It kills Hardened Scales. It kills Arcbound Ravager. The only things that you'd want to kill with it that it misses, I guess, are, if you're comparing it to Disenchant, is it can't hit an Inkmoth Nexus because it's a sorcery. Well, it's a sorcery.
Oh,
so Inkmoth is only going to be a creature on our opponent's turn, and it can't hit a Hollow One. But we have enough good answers for Hollow One that we don't really need a Disenchant for it, and our deck is really good at blocking Inkmoth. And then Vapor Snag. So Vapor Snag, speaking of answers to Hollow One, Vapor Snag is hard removal in a lot of cases against Hollow One and Greater Gargadon and Vengevine. So a lot of these busted graveyard decks are not actually good at just traditionally casting their creatures from their hand. So paying 1 blue mana to put that creature back in their hand is sort of like Path to Exile with upside.
Right.
Especially like a Gargadon. A Gargadon's never coming back if you put that in their hand.
Yeah.
Vengevine decks, this is a weird thing. They don't really play that many ways to discard cards. Most Vengevine decks are playing 4 Faithless Looting and 4 Insolent Neonate, and they burn through those pretty quickly at the beginning of the game. So if you put a Vengevine back in your opponent's hand, most likely it's stuck there until they randomly draw into another Faithless Looting.
Right.
So that's great. It's also good against like Wurmcoil Engine, just because it gets it out of the way. It prevents up to 2 turns of life gain. And then Echoing Truth does a Vapor Snag impression. It can't bounce creature lands, which is relevant pretty much exactly against Inkmoth Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
But it can bounce all the tokens. So a bunch of spirit tokens against your Pyromancer are gone. A bunch of zombies from Bridge. This card's sweet. And this, bouncing non-land permanents, is also, along with Fragmentize, a sideboard answer to things like Ensnaring Bridge Engineered Explosives.
Yes. And if you've been watching our other videos, we have won a lot of games from Echoing.
Oh yeah, Echoing Truth has been a blowout a lot of times. And last night, I was playing through another league, and I got to Echoing Truth like 7 zombies, and then in a different game, I got to Echoing Truth like 6 spirit tokens, and it's just so good.
It's kind of flashy though, because it's like usually the spell we cast right before we win.
Echoing Truth is almost always cast on the lethal combat turn or the end step before it. So it always looks maybe cooler than it is. Right. We're playing Akira because she is a rare card that is good against both humans and like 3-color mid-range decks. Good against humans because she prevents Reflector Mage and is it Staticaster?
Oh, I hope we get the opportunity to flash her in response to a Reflector Mage being cast. That would be...
Yes. Reflector Mage on the stack flashing in Kira would be awesome. Kira does not work if you flash her in response to something targeting. But she does work if you flash her in response to a thing that's gonna target, like a Reflector Mage or is it Staticaster? Besides that, normal stuff. Negate Unified Will for combo decks and control decks and stuff. Stony Silence and Rest in Peace as our suite of 1 white enchantments that completely annihilate graveyard or artifact strategies. Okay, that's enough talking.
Yep.
Last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bust open 1 pack each of Dominaria, because we got 6 videos here. We got Deck Tech and we got 5 matches, and so we can bust open 6 packs of Dominaria each, and then build a sealed pool.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm excited about an Arcane Flight, a Kaligo Skin Witch.
Ooh, I got a Snapper.
Oh,
Sapling Migration.
Academy Drake.
Eviscerate.
Wow, okay, so mine's looking real good for maybe a white-blue deck. I got Arcane Flight, I got Academy Drake, I have Dauntless Bodyguard, Memorial to Glory, and a Raft of Passion.
Hey, your boy.
Yeah, I play that in Commander.
I got a Yargle.
Oh, shit.
My rare is Mishra's Self-Replicator.
That can run away with the game.
Yeah. I actually have a few historic...
Oh, yeah, right in front of it, you've got Triumph and...
Triumph of Gerard, Juggernaut, Eviscerate, Sapling Migration, Particle Wanderer.
I mean, I'm looking at the Sapling Migration, the Crowsand Druid, the Yargle, and the Eviscerate, and I'm seeing a pretty sweet start to a black-green deck.
Yep.
That's looking pretty nice. Nice.
All right, so these decks will develop as we go.
Yeah, so far it's looking like I'm leaning towards blue-white, and Jake's leaning towards green-black. That's exciting. So, anyway, we'll be back in a sec to get into match number 1.